we had a little Moody Blues going on this morning. Nights in White Satin. In honor of Mike Pinder. Mike Pinder was the longtime keyboardist and founding members of the Moody Blues. He was the last surviving member. Moody Blues are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, for what all that's worth, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But anyway, Mike died Wednesday last week at the age of 82. If you remember, he co-wrote or actually wrote most of the Moody Blues songs. I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. And if you remember, now this little trivia here, Monday morning trivia, always throwing one at you. When Mike left the Moody Blues, he took another member with him, and that member was Denny Lane. And they went on to be part of the core team of Paul and Linda McCartney's new band called Wings. No doubt, yeah. So, yeah, they were part. Yeah, that people don't know that. Band on the run, hell on wheels. I mean, nobody knows. Yeah. So, hats off to Mike Pinder, Denny Lane. Seems like all our rock stars are getting older. Yeah, and the ones that I grew up with anyway, and people that I know and talk to. The Rolling Stones. Can you believe? The Rolling Stones are starting their Hackney Diamonds tour. Yeah, pretty swiftly, Andy. You get a date up there. They even coming close to the Northwest. And if you remember right, Mick, Keith, Ronnie, last three surviving. Wyman's not with them anymore, and of course Charlie's dead. Yeah, they're all in their 80s now, and so they're in their 80s, and they're doing tours and rocking and rolling. All right, Paul McCartney's in his 80s. Okay, and Joe and Donald, who are running for president, one is in their 80s, one will be in their 80s. Do you see a difference there? I can't get no. I mean, come on, man. I know I've said it before that 80-year-old people shouldn't be running our country, but maybe Mick. Andy, what do you think? The polls are open. Should Mick Jagger run for president? Is that a real poll you're going to run this morning? You are. So people can send a message to Monkey Business Media on Facebook, or me. I don't care. Should Mick? Who would be Mick's? Keith, of course, the Glimmer Twins. Shout out to Steve. Glimmer Twins. All right. It is a Monday, April 29th, on a, geez, can I say mild? I've had the fan on for the last 3 nights. It gets to the 40s, I got the fan on. Yeah, I do. I do. And yeah, I got the fan running all the time. And looking at the clock, it's Monday morning, It's after 8, so as usual, if you need it to be work by 8, then according to the clock there, if you're not at work yet, you're late. So, before we get a rolling, what, we're already rolling? All right. A big shout out to our sponsors at the Great Falls Gazette. How about that? Still only $1, you know? I mean, hometown news. A local paper, when the Tribune was running around, I used to get the Tribune. And the Tribune never was a local newspaper. It had all the national stuff. It was always owned by some other conglomerate newspaper barons that lived. Yeah, right. The Tribune was owned by the Chicago Sun-Times. Is that what you're telling me? The Tribune? Is that what you're saying, Andy? All right. So, the Great Falls Gazette is like, it's a local paper. They're talking about the presentation, and they had a story about the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department doing a fentanyl awareness, the hockey teams local, they got want ads, they've got, I hear from Facebook, Great Falls Gazette, are you going to start doing remember the Tribune used to have a thing, so if you were having a garage sale or a rummage sale, you could call the Tribune, they'd run an ad, give you some signs, you know, but they're like not here no more. But I saw on Facebook and social media that the Gazette's going to start doing that. So they have stories about the animal shelter, and, whoa, what's here on the back? Crime Stoppers. Well, look at here. She's pretty good looking, Andy. She's cute. Yeah, Debbie. Debbie's only 39. She's a white female, 5'4", blonde, green eyes. She's wanted, though, on violation of a suspended sentence for forgery. How bad could it get? How could $20,000 bond bad? Yeah. So, yeah, that's, you know, but she's pretty good. You want to post her bail? Made in Montana. So, Great Falls Gazette, big shout out to the crew there for having us as in your busy schedule to take the time out to, what? We're still not on the cover. No. I want to see my smiling face on the cover of the Great Falls Gazette. Yeah. Stone gonna buy 5 copies for my mother. All right. Big news this weekend, of course. For me anyway, or for sports fans, was we had the NFL draft. It was 3 fun-filled, packed extravaganza days coming from my hometown of Detroit. Oh yeah, put it on the map. Boy, howdy did it. The draft has become almost as popular as the Super Bowl, and the NFL explains it this way. You've got all the stars, you've got the commissioner, you got the teams, you got the fans, all sorts of stuff for fans to do, and usually, Andy, can you check this out? You got it up here on usually your draft day is from towns that are cold. Next year is Green Bay. Good point. Next year is Green Bay. This year was Detroit. Not your Super Bowl. They've hosted one, and I think they will again. Detroit's a rebuilding process downtown. sure showcased it nice so on the on ABC. It was on ABC, ESPN. I streamed it. I watched it all weekend. Everybody, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not doing. The Lions got yeah. So remember now, and it's become a really big deal. Like I said, draft day is a big deal. Remember now, just a few years ago when they had it in Memphis, was that 19? 500, 600? 680,000 people showed up for draft the weekend. That's a lot of folks, man. This past weekend, though, Detroit, what was the final numbers, Andy? Throw them up there. Just under 1 million. Just under 1 million people showed up to Detroit, Michigan, downtown, breaking all-time NFL draft records. It was quite the thing. I mean, yeah, even Governor Gretchen Whitmore was even there. She was, bragging about Detroit, bragging about Michigan, bragging about the Wolverines, bragging about the Lions. Wow. Pretty good football in that state right now. What was she doing there besides bragging? She's bragging. Now, she made a pick for the Lions. She picked the guy from LSU that we got, the defensive tackle, I think that it was. Yeah, from LSU, right? Yeah. She picked that guy. It's become quite the extravaganza, if you do. The total. A total of 13 national champion Michigan Wolverines. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail the Michigan, the leaders and the best. All right. Had to do it. Harbaugh picked up a receiver from Michigan, and he was singing the Michigan fight song in the Chargers, the war room or whatever. He was, he had a suit was all Michigan stuff. So, 13 Michigan Wolverines were picked over the 3-day weekend. J.J. McCarthy went 10th. Overall, in the first round to the Minnesota Vikings. And that's really good draft, I think, for the Vikings. I remember when he was still playing at Michigan, they were asking him, about pro teams. And one of the teams that he mentioned was the Vikings. So, he went to the Vikings. Vikings did pretty good on draft day. The thing is with draft day, you never know what are diamonds and what are rust. What may appear to be a good draft choice, maybe sometimes isn't a good draft choice. Okay? Remember Charles Rogers. Number one in the draft, receiver. Lions took him in the Matt Millen years. Oh, jeez, the Matt Millen years. Shit, man, Yeah, Rogers was a bust. He's hurt. Broke his collarbone, AC separation, class 5. His second play never amounted to nothing. And there's Ryan Leaf, all right? There's another example. Ryan Leaf's going to light up the NFL. Oh, he was lighting it up all right. Yeah. Both of those guys were really high picks that ended up, busted down on Bourbon Street, set up, totally bust. Just bang, busted. So we never know. We never know. But we look at every draft, everybody's out there, who did the best? Pipewrench, who didn't do that? Who sucked? Okay? You already think Minnesota did well with picking JJ, and that's not because I'm a Michigan homer or anything, but, yeah, I'm a Michigan homer. So, who did the best? In my opinion, Chicago Bears, Arizona Cardinals, and the Detroit Lions did the best in this draft, filling the holes and the needs that were definitely there. I'm more familiar with Detroit, but Detroit's secondary was atrocious last year. It was even though they went to the NFL championship, they were thrown up there, Andy. 23rd. Thank you for highlighting that. 23rd against the pass. Didn't that show in the playoffs and their losses, the pass? Didn't it? So they picked up what is it? Terrion Arnold is the quarterback, top-rated quarterback out of Alabama. And they traded up with Dallas. They traded with Dallas to move up a couple picks because they wanted him and they got him. And then they got what was it? What was it? It's a Ennis Backstraw Jr., the quarterback from Missouri, and possibly the best two corners. I just hold up for best two corners in the draft. The Lions picked them up. So, did they address their need? Yeah. Are the cornerbacks good? We don't know. Okay? We don't know how it's going to pan out. On paper, Lions get an A+. They needed help. Later in the draft, I was hoping they were going to pick up Mikey Sanderson from Michigan, but he is already gone. Yeah, he went to Washington with our second pick. Didn't stay on the board long. I didn't think so. Chicago, as predicted, they picked up Caleb Williams out of USC with the very first pick of the draft. I think, 6 total quarterbacks went in the first round? 8. All right. Math is a little bit off. It's Monday morning. What do you expect? And, that they also picked up their receiver from West Virginia. And of course, Arizona picked Marvin Harrison from Ohio State, as expected. But not only was he the best receiver available, but Arizona really needed a receiver. They really needed, just like Detroit needed cornerbacks. The NFC North is going to become brutal. Yeah, I think Detroit's right now got the upper hand, but Michigan picks up JJ. Chicago picks up Caleb. The North Division is back. And then, so those are there's the people that I thought did the best in the draft. Okay? The worst team in the draft had to be Dallas. If there was an F-, is there an F-? Can you do an F+? Or, what's worse, an F+, or an F-? Well, Andy, what is worse? Because whatever is worse, that's what I'm going to give Dallas. They insist. They insist on behaving and drafting like they're a team that's Super Bowl championships and we don't need anything. We're just so good. There are glaring holes in the Dallas Cowboys team. Jerry Jones is not running any kind of organization there that's No plan for team development. No draft picks that benefited. I didn't even know any of the people that they drafted. So Dallas gets an F. What is it? An F minus? So it'd be F, but a minus an F. It's better than an F. Not good F, like an F plus. Yeah. And the big news was, the big news of the draft was the first day. Basically, when Atlanta took Michael Penix out of Washington Huskies. Everybody's like losing their freaking mind, you know? It's like, oh no, we got a quarterback. We got Kirk Cousins. We just traded, we just got him. Oh no, why is everybody doing this? Why did we draft? Personally, I think that getting him, Penix getting him, and Penix went before JJ. JJ beat Penix in the national championship. Why was it smart, Andy? Well, I'll tell you why. Kirk Cousins is going to be 36 years old in August. Okay, he's coming off an Achilles injury, just like Aaron Rodgers, and unlike Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins has never reached a conference final game. So conference title game. So finals, title. I got basketball on my brain. But, you know, for everybody, for the Atlanta fans, you know, Cousins isn't 36, Achilles injury, so never led a team to a conference championship. Penix was genius. Genius move. I say genius move. And then, what else? What else in the draft stood out for you, Andy? What did you see that you used? Cincinnati, Cleveland hasn't had a pick in the first round for what, 45 years now or something, it seems like. Oh man, you know, it's like when you're getting your first pick in the second rounds. That was the trade, yeah, and how long will that last? Well, mighty my, yeah. So, there's your NFL draft in a nutshell. Ooh, look at me, I'm in a nutshell. We do have some interesting projects coming up. I do have one anyway. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, Andy. Can we do that without giving okay. We had an original plan, then we had a different plan. So, what I'm going to be doing here in the near future, and probably the next month or so, is I will be hosting a online, on-app, streaming radio show. That show will feature music from the 60s and 70s. There'll be some gimmicks. There'll be some tricks. Okay? There'll be, without giving it away, right? See, we don't have all the licensing, in fact, set up quite yet. We have the broadcasting area set up. We have the music set up. We have the licensing for the music tagged and set up. What I'll be doing is coming to you basically from a variety of, right, we'll be in syndication. Exactly. So we'll be a syndicated radio show I'll be hosting. It'll probably be available on several stations. When that time comes, I will take everybody and to dedicate probably a whole show on how to do it, how to listen, whatever. What we're in the process right now is we have a bunch of demos set up and ready to go out. As soon as they're ready and final, the people that are on my podcast mailing list will also get a copy of the radio demo, or they'll be directed to a link to listen to it. It'll be just like a music show. Once the demo's up, it'll give all the secrets away, but we'll already be in syndication, we'll already be up and running, and names have been trademarked, and all sorts of stuff. So we do have a web page, a Facebook page that is set up right now, and that is Magic Carpet Radio, and that is just a kind of like a station page or a show page, or it's something that I can, when I broadcast, it's a trademark name. We've registered the name. We are, I am Andy, like Andy's shaking his head and I got to clarify this. Andy's not involved. Andy's my man that is running the show here, but when it comes to radio, Exactly. So, that project is cooking, and we'll be keeping you posted on that. So, remember, you can listen to this podcast not only on YouTube, but on Spotify. We're not reminding people that. I should put a link on my page. So, we're on YouTube with the podcast. We're on Spotify with the podcast. And we're going to be having a syndicated show that will be available probably in different markets. Right, we'll probably be in 2 or 3 different markets. We haven't explored any Montana markets quite yet, but we have explored some other major markets. And so that's where we're probably going to go. Andy, that's where I'm going, right? You're going off there. So that's it, in a nutshell. All right, draft opinions are in. Michigan did well to be picked. 13 is not the record. No, the all-time record for a team having players picked from their team is 15. Alabama, Alabama. And I don't know the year. It was not too long, I think, in 2018, 17. It's when they won their back-to-back, their second year. But 13 is quite a bit. Shows the holes that are gaping in Michigan, our whole offense. But number one defensive line coming back. So we'll see. With the alignment, ought to be really, really, really interesting. So you're giving me the high side. We got to run. So before we go, it's going to get warm out. It's starting to get warm out already. And that means that people are going to be taking their dogs out in the car. Let's take Fluffy out to the shopping center. Okay? Even though it's only 68, 70 degrees outside, 72. Okay? If you leave a dog with the windows rolled up in the hot sun with no cloud cover, that 72 degrees outside car is going to be 95 to 100, 105 in no time. There's no reason to be taking kids in cars and leaving them in kids and dogs and leaving them in cars. I was thinking of the doors for cots in cars. Yeah. So, just a PSA out there. I see your dog locked in a hot car, and we're going to break the window. Okay? All righty then. Andy's giving me the high side. So for this April 29th, May 1st is Naked Gardening Day. Naked Gardening Day. Is that a really thing? Wednesday is going to be, everybody's going to be gardening naked? Oy vey. Oh, man. All right. Remember, everybody, spay and neuter, adopt, don't shop, rescue, volunteer, adopt a shelter pet today. You know the drill. Till next week, have a great week. Andy, we're done? We're done. All right, we're out of here, everybody. See ya.